Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 196, and today we're going to be doing battle with Powder Pandemonium. And so, with the release of the Dark and Saga Domination, I was trying to see if there were any decks of old worth reinventing. And as we look through the cards, we do see quite a bit of card draw, a lot of things that could be drawing us toward Twisted Fate, and then perhaps playing like a Fizz Twisted Fate deck of old, really burn heavy and closing out with the Burblefish and a lot of card draw and cheap burn. But I tested it out. I played quite a few games with it. I just wasn't happy with it at any point. But it does kind of circle me back to the Powder Pandemonium deck. This is a deck that we've made, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 videos on across the lifespan of the channel here. It's a deck that I really like since it attacks the meta in odd ways, right? You typically say, okay, I'm playing an aggro deck like Pirates. I'm just going to flood the board with dudes and jump in. Or you say, I'm going to play a board-controlled deck like Scouts. We're just going to take advantage of good challenges, get a wide board, and then eventually win. Or we're going to do some big punching in with Overwhelms, or we're going to play a card control deck and just draw a million cards. You know, those are all your kind of standard card game path to victory. With the Powder Pandemonium, though, it doesn't really take those paths, right? It's got some burn in it. It's got all these random powder monkeys in it. It's got this minor combo between the Jagged Taskmaster and the various monkeys that you're generating. It's not a deck that just like says, "Oh yeah, this is a very straightforward game plan." It's not that it's tough for the game plan for your opponent to figure out. It's tough for them to develop a deck and develop responses to our game plan, since it's so different from the standard fare that you're seeing. And so this is what I wanted to kind of circle back and revisit. The new card that we're looking to add into here is going to be Drum Solo. And so when it comes to these Powder Pandemonium decks, I feel like you have a couple of big decisions that you need to be making early. That is, do I want to play Yordle Grifter? And in this case, we do. I'm looking to definitely take advantage of these warning shots. I'm looking to use the likes of warning shots and the cheap burn spells to activate the flow on our drum solos. And so with that in mind, us wanting to play the Yordle Grifter, if we circle back to the drum solo, I don't want to play a ton of P and Z, since we are going to be playing a Allegiance unit in the Grifter. I can't load this up with a bunch of Mystic Shots and Teemos and the like to get that early burn if we want to chase after the Allegiance. And so we're only playing the 3 drum solos along with a single copy of Catalyst, and then we're going to focus on a really more heavy burn package than you would typically see out of the Plunder Pandemonium decks. And so we're playing 3 warning shots, 2 parlays, 3 make it rains, single copy of Double Up, and then the 3 copies of Yordle Grifter, along with both the Dreadway and the Catalyst as the means to make those spells really pop off. And so the idea that we're going to have with this one is we're going to be a little bit more spell heavy. We're going to try and activate flow, and then we're going to have that flow be the means to come in and churn through more of our deck. I think now that these days that the likes of Riptide Sermon has been nerfed, I'm not super interested in playing both Riptide Sermon and playing Eye of Naga Kaboros. And so I think we can kind of replace the Eye of Naga Kaboros with Drum Solo. We can replace the Riptide Sermon with just the pure top end that we get out of Catalyst and the Dreadway. And then since we're going to be a little bit more spell heavy, we're looking to come in and include Fizz as a means of cheap and early damage to hopefully come in and punch in a few points in the early game. So this is it. That's the deck. This is what we do in battle with today. You all know what we have to do before the battles begin, though. We have to go and pay the pay-to-win price, and it's time for the drum solo. You know, we don't play too much Seraphine in these parts, so the drum solo hasn't been given the premium treatment. But I've been really trying to envision an aggressive burn style deck that uses the drum solo and Mystic Shots and burn spells instead of putting it in more of a control-based shell as it's getting used today. Cards just aren't quite there in my opinion, but certainly dreaming. I'm dreaming for that day when we're drum soloing into Mystic Shots and stuff. Okay, Nasus Kindred. This is traditionally a horrifically bad matchup, and so we'll see if our burn is able to carry us through here. I think I do want to hang on to this Make It Rain, though. We can see if we can't punch down some of their early low health units. All right, not going to go after the Bakai this turn. You do have to kind of make these decisions since we're playing the Gangplank version, if we want to start dealing this damage in the early game or if we want to save it for a little bit later. And here, I'm just going to save it. We have the Powder Monkey in hand. We've just picked up this Black Market Merchant. I want to slow it down just a little bit because we are going to have a little bit more time against this Nasus deck. They tend to be a little bit slower. All right, Powder Monkey on the board. It's attack time. I think here it's interesting again. Maybe we do just go for the Black Market Merchant. I'm trying to think of how we want to sequence this out in terms of making sure we deal a damage every turn for the rest of the game. And we can still deal the damage next turn with the Yordle Grifter. Interesting stuff here, the Black Spear, Atrocity, Vile Feast. I don't think we're going to get much usage out of the Atrocity. I'm going to pick up the Black Spear here. This gives us a reasonable way to kill a Kindred. And I don't think we're ever going to deal more than like 3 damage with Atrocity. But it's good to know what removal suite's about to come at us. All right, now with the addition of the Jagged Butcher, going to play it a little bit slower in terms of this Yordle Grifter. We can try and get him down next turn. Definitely have to watch ourselves now. We know he has that Vile Feast in hand, and so it's okay if he Vile Feasts something next turn and activates Kindred. It's a real pain if he gets it this turn. Oh, he uses it on his own guy. Makes sense. That's not the end of the world. All right, let's see what he does. It's a pretty fair block coming out of the Spiderling. I want to see if we can't get him invested in like killing our own stuff and then just Black Spearing down Kindred. Say, oh, look at this! You get this juicy target on the board now. he doesn't go for it. That's okay. Sure. At this point, we're like basically done with combat damage. I'd like to get a few more points of combat damage if we can, sure, but I don't have high expectations of us actually punching in anymore. Now that Fizz turns up, we might be able to change our tune on that a little bit, but my expectations were low. It's interesting that we picked up Hate Spike in the face of Nasus, because he's not ready to strike yet, but we can kind of get out of the way and prevent that strike with a Hate Spike. All right, friends, let's get you all on board. Maybe we will get to attack in here. Ooh, a Pandemonium. I feel like we probably want the Pandemonium for next turn. It seems like we're going to just like make some attacks here. He's going to kill all of our stuff, and then next turn we can try and just kill him with the Powder Pandemonium. Do need to remember though, he has that Atrocity in his hand, so we don't really want to be taking big hits from Nasus and then be taking another hit next turn. But I think we're still good here. Whichever unit he's going to block Nasus with, we'll just Hate Spike into the Butcher. Interesting. Okay. We just got like all the time in the world now.
Take it up with my friends.
Do we? It is unfortunate. We do die to another atrocity here. That's sad. It's pretty tough to have multiples, though, right? They tend to play either 1 or 2 copies. He's already played 1 copy. You don't have to completely worry about it, but we'll see. Very odd that he just hasn't been doing anything.
Bilgewater is mine and mine alone. I rarely forget and never forgive.
I guess that's it. I guess you can just have both of them at this point. All right, GG. Well, I liked our angle there. I felt like we got in front of the Nasus and just didn't take that big doming. But I guess it should have been fairly obvious that he had the second one if he was going to spend 1 on Fizz at that point in the game. All right, next battle: Lucian and Evelynn. Sup, friends? I think this is another hand we could probably reasonably pop off with. Like, I don't have high expectations on the first turn, but if we like bank the mana for this parlay, we should be able to spike a Husk, like maybe even on turn 2 here, and then get all of the Jagged Butchers online and ready to go. That's how it's playing out. Might work that way next turn as well. If he says, like, play a Salter or whatever the 3 mana one is, you get to parlay the Husk and then have a Fizz attack. You know, doesn't sound terrible. Vora, that's it. I think I'm okay with this. Like, he is playing Lucian, right? We did have the option this turn to say just open attack our 2/3/3s into the Salter. We do probably 1 less damage this way, but we get to maybe clear out some of his board and help keep that Lucian from leveling up. So it's like, if we let this stuff stick around, it lets him start to play things like Blighted Caretakers and some of the sacrifice cards to get rid of them. So I think it's nice. Uh-oh. Are we gonna boom him with the Catalyst? It's not the strongest collection of units to be going after. It says, oh fuck. Buff's bringing the booms now. No, that was fairly non-exciting. The climax was low, but we did get a pretty good hit there. Now we can still drop this plundered Powder Monkey. We'll have a full 3 bank next turn coming into a drum solo. You know, it's a moderately exciting round. Definitely not attacking into his 1/1 though, now that he has the Dawn Speakers on board. If he has a Sharp Sight to take down Fizz, I'm kind of okay with that, but I don't want him just getting this free boost from the Dawn Speakers. Excellent. He didn't have a... Oh shit, he already lost a unit? What did he lose that round? I don't believe it. I don't think he had a unit die. Okay. So this can still be a fairly scary turn. Gotta see what opponent's gonna bring in. If he starts getting rallies with his Lucian, we can have a problem. We also need a way to actually finish the game. As it stands, these cards in our hand aren't going to do a lot of killing.
By the strength of our convictions.
Okay, no reason to add the Butcher. Like, we're not going to attack with it. We need to find a way here just to get a kill. Gangplank, though. It's a little sad. We can get him to flip in the middle of combat, but we can't get the big Gangplank boom. So we need to lead with a Purify. It's going to flip our Fizz, and then our Gangplank will flip after Fizz deals a point of damage in combat. Ideally. I guess we got to say stuff like ideally. But see, this is what I'm talking about, though, when we have these options to, say, play a parlay on the first turn to get our Gangplank leveled up a little bit earlier. Ew, it's kind of gross. These are the turns where it matters, right? We would be absolutely dominating this board if our Gangplank was flipped before combat. But since he only got to flip in the middle of combat, we didn't get to do the big, I don't know, blast, whatever it's called, the powderful explosion. And Evelyn, probably dead at this point. This is a very scary board. Even hit Overwhelm on the Husk. I guess, like, it's not as horrible that he hits the Overwhelm on the Husk when he's his Evelyn and his Evan will get the Overwhelm, but the Lucian won't. What are we gonna do now? We got 4 damage Make It Rain ready to pop off.
See what's beneath while I see what's inside.
So it's like, yeah, it doesn't kill a lot. I'll wait until combat. It's like, you have the opportunity here to, like, if Evelyn hooks the powder keg. Whoa, those aren't good hooks. And so you can hook the powder kegs with Evelyn so that if she's going to die, then, or if when the powder kegs die, she just gets to still deal that damage directly to face. But didn't go that route. Game can't tell us how much we're about to take, but at worst, this should be 11 or so. I guess, actually, if we just stop right here as Lucian doesn't flip, but man, losing out on all those powder kegs really sucks. Okay. Oh, we had Lucian in here? Learn from the master. No combat tricks, dude. We just pulled off our big high roll. Fuck. Fuck, he's doing something. Oh man, this is like the worst one ever. If he, what is this? Oh my God, is that gonna counterspell the Make It Rain and kill our Gangplank? This game's stupid. Why do we even bother with this shit? What a dumb game. Alright, well, we gotta draw something good now. Boo. No, he drew something good. Oh, I don't know if he's capable of the lethal here. He could be. He's gonna hit for 3. So technically this would take this would kill through Evelyn. That would be 1 short to kill through Evelyn. Oh, he's going to rally off of this? Probably. That would probably be our saving grace. Oh, he's going to flip anyways. Okay. I was going to say, that's like a little scary since the Gangplank Blast hits through the back line. You can see the Oracle's Eye there that he's going to pick up the rally. and we would just be smoked. I was at least hoping there to get a lethal, or if we could go into the next turn, might top deck a warning shot or something to deal that last point of damage. Okay. But this is the concurrent timelines. See what we got. Reasonable enough start against that. Like, the Make It Rain isn't spectacular if they have the timelines. If they don't have the timelines, you have these real opportunities to clear out 2 and 3 units with the Make It Rain. So hold on to it instead of looking for like a bit of card draw. That's what you tend to need with hands like this, to where you're getting like powder monkeys and then the cheap warning shot down. You just spew out your hand and you need to refill. But the Yordle Grifter helps a little bit there. Getting those nabs to play cards out of your opponent's deck. Got the timelines. Slightly awkward turn. It's like I don't really want to spend the Make It Rain on this board if we're not going to kill anything. But he just like never attacks into the Powder Monkey for no reason, and so probably have to just play the Make It Rain and the Taskmaster this round. See, this is what I mean. Like, if he doesn't have the timeline and he plays a Reggie, or he plays a Avarosian Sentry, or he plays a 1 health attune or improvise unit, lots of opportunities just to kill all that shit with the Make It Rain. But if he does have the timelines, this Reggie's probably going to be like a 3-2 or a 2-3 now. We just don't get the kills.
I help when I can. Shut up when I can.
Mm-hmm. See, so it's like there's no real reason to attack into this Powder Monkey, and now we lose out on some of these nabs. But I think this is okay. The Grifter's kind of big, and we can pop off a little bit next turn and then chain into a drum solo 2 turns from now. So much for the drum solo. All right, my favorite ability in the game, the Manifest's coming out. Sitting here taking forever. Pandemonium on board. Ooh, that's scary, seeing a Funsmith. All right, let's see what happens with these battles. Why would you throw away your Funsmith? That's suspect. Why wouldn't you just throw away Saltur? Like, if you need to deal that extra point of damage for, say, like a thermogenic beam or a removal spell, you get that extra point coming out of the Saltur.
This all we got? Hey, I've done more with less.
Oh, that's a big boy. Don't really want to spend the warning shot this turn, but like we're gonna. It's kind of awkward in the sense that it's like we have the double Taskmaster plus the Powder Pandemonium, so we can make all these giant monkeys, but we're not going to be able to attack with them next turn. I'm just going to go ahead and add the Merchant. I'm going to be blocking this Hextech Handler with something, and we'd rather just go ahead and block with our worst unit. We could still add a Taskmaster and a Butcher this turn, and then open attack next turn. Maybe get some big damage in.
The strong don't want mercy.
And then you could argue to play a Make It Rain right now, but he did just discard another Urchin, so there's not a huge opportunity for him to have units that can add width to the board. Of course. Of course, we just whiff. Makes sense. And then Mystic Shot. Okay.
Ye started without me.
But I don't know. When he did just take all the width off of the board. So I mean, we can add in either the Castaway or the Combat Cook, and then still have the mana to Powder Pandemonium this turn. Let's just add the most expensive one in the Cook. We'll go with the Sandstorm Amulet. He's bound to have some bad blockers out here, like Salter. I don't think we need Tough. And then the other big thing with this turn is he can't Buried in the Ice. We don't have to worry about too much, given that Buried in the Ice costs 9. So we should be good. We should be hitting for 20.
The War Mother will unite us all.
Oh shit, these are only 3 attack and not 4. It's okay. I think we're still lethal. We don't need to do 20, we only need to do 13. Just cool to get that big OTK in the single attack. I thought we had 2 plunders from the Taskmaster, but we didn't play this other one. We played that Black Market Merchant last turn because I thought we weren't going to Pandemonium this turn and we were just going to be attacking with dudes. Got something though. Beam? Alright, game says we're lethal. GG. And so that game, it gives you a little taste. Like, I hate just sitting around bitching about Seraphine all the time, but I guess that's what we're going to be doing here. The comparison I like to make with Seraphine is to Sensei's Divining Top from Magic. And so if you were not familiar with Sensei's Divining Top, it was a 1 mana artifact that lets you pay 1 mana and look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. And then you could like tap it and put the top on top of your deck and draw a card. And so what it would basically amount to, where the games would just take fucking forever, because you're going to put the top down, then at the end of your opponent's turn, if you had a mana, you were going to spend the top, and then if you were going to, say, play a fetch land and sacrifice it, shuffle your deck, then you're going to top again. And then if you didn't hit what you would need, then you could go into the beginning of your turn and top before you drew a card. And it just added so much time to every single game, because any time that you had this excess mana, then you were going to spend the top and you were going to edit your deck, and you have to be like, herder, I've got to look at my hand now. Now I have to look at the top of my deck. And it was just a fucking monstrosity of nonsense. And that was basically Wizards' answer to Sensei's Divining Top was, you know, it's not that it's incredibly overpowered. It just takes fucking forever, and it destroys the game flow of the games. And we just don't want... We don't believe it's too powerful. It's just too slow. Like, no one wants to sit through all these games that take forever. As you're already taking time to shuffle for your fetch lands, now that you're shuffling more for the top, it just takes way too long. And I feel like that's what the current meta we run into now is. It's been my always problem with concurrent timelines. It's not that the concurrent timelines is way too powerful. It's that you play the timelines, now you play a unit and you have to stop and think. And then that unit improvises and you have to stop and think. Or you play Reggie, you have to stop and think twice. And it's just this chain over and over and over and over again, to where if you look at the length of time that active player takes is, say, like 3 to 4 minutes in a game, and then the amount of time that opponent took in the game was like 7 or 8, and it's not really a function of them, you know, stopping and thinking and roping on you or whatever. It's mainly a function of they just took forever because they had all those extra decisions to make. And that's my problem with things like Manifest. Like, I don't think that Manifest is a problem. I just don't like the density of Manifest, how much of it exists. And so, I mean, it's something that you would always see in Magic if, like, Scry was something that was really big and you have to stop and think over and over again, or with the top. It's the same thing here, as to where it's not that the cards are too powerful, it's just that they're so slow. But alright, we're in a pretty good spot here. We've played two Jagged Butchers, or not Jagged Butcher, we played two Jagged Taskmasters, so all of our one-costers are going to be +1 attack. We have both of these Vile Feasts to try and slow down his board, and then we have a full Powder Pandemonium for our next turn. I think we're looking pretty strong here. The thing we have to worry about with this Elise Senna deck is I would assume that he has some amount of AoE in this, so he's going to be coming at us with like Withering Whales or something to clear out all of our 1 health units. I think he's about to play a Glimpse Beyond. That's okay. The downside with these Gangplanks, though, we haven't been dealing a lot of damage to opponent. We really slow rolled those first 2 turns of the game without a 1-drop or a warning shot to just bank the mana. So Gangplank's a little bit far behind. He's probably never going to flip this game. Get these parlays, though. That's the way to do it. You got to get the Gangplank out of your hand to parlay with. That's one of the things that's always been kind of interesting with the champions, though, right? It's you have the decision with your champions and your deck building. Do I want to maximize my chances of drawing the champion? So do I play 3 copies of Gangplank? Because if you draw the second one and don't need it, then you're stuck with parlay. Or if you're playing, say, like a 2-2-2 split, you may not draw your Gangplank and you may draw that other rando champion, but that other rando champion is playable when the Gangplank wouldn't be. And so that's always a real interesting factor. And then the flip spell as well, to where whether or not you flip into a dud or a good card or a bad card is kind of interesting. And then also if you flip into something cheap or something expensive. And so with Gangplank flipping into a 1-cost card, when you're actually playing your Gangplank on turn like 5, 6, 7, parlay tends to not be particularly effective. All right. Well, we got our surprise rage quit of the day. I didn't expect opponent to quit on the face of these Vile Feasts, but maybe he just dropped his phone in the toilet. That's been known to happen as well. You're at work, you're taking a shit, you're getting in your game of Runeterra on the company dime. Somebody comes in. You forgot that you had the sound turned on. Drop that phone right in the toilet. Whoops. I've never done that. I've never dropped a phone in the toilet. My wife managed to pull that off maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I was like, how do you even do that? Like, are you just like scrolling through Facebook or whatever, and then you just like miss-swipe and drop it? It was apparently a situation like I carry my phone in my front pocket. She's a back pocket carrier, and something about forgetting about it and sitting down and the phone falling out. It survived, though. I mean, I don't know how. It was apparently, I was told, now, believe what you want. I was told that the water was clean. There were no dookies. There were no number ones just lingering in there, that it was at the initial point of the bathroom encounter when the phone droppage happened. But man, there's still got to be, residue. Both lingering from previous dookies and now on your phone. It's, I'd have just bought a new one. I don't know, man. Give AT&T a call and say, hey, what's your policy on shitty phones? Not in terms of quality, but in terms of fecal matter. Why is this taking so long? What the fuck's happening? It just, the timer's gone down like 8 times. Did the game break? Someone at Riot knows how much I just sit around and bitch about stuff, and so they made the game break. This is interesting now. All right. Well, I'm done with story time. I'm just going to assume we've won this game, and we'll surrender out of that one. I'm not quite sure what the deal there was. I thought we were talking about poop for way too long. It took me a while. It took me a while to figure out that the timer might have been broken. Okay, Vayne and Gwen. So what do we got? It's like a reasonably powerful set of dudes, but we don't have the spells to send the Fizz in. It's like I feel like with this we can hang on to the Fizz and the Taskmaster. Like they tend to play some 1-drops, right? They're gonna play the 1-cost Hallowed unit. They tend to play the bird, the Challenger bird. But if they don't have them and we get this early hit in with Fizz, it gets us so on track to really popping off. Right, we can bank through this turn, not real worried about that. Now next turn we have a Make It Rain, a Taskmaster, and then a Swindle, or a Make It Rain, Monkey Business, and Swindle. Lots of good choices here.
We shall sing, dance, and forget our woes.
No, sir. And then what's he got? Chronicler, Atrocity, and Conductor. LOL. LOL. GG, my dude. Well, I didn't feel like that was a real game ender there, but I guess when he maybe had 4 cards in hand, and if you have going into turn 3, or going into turn 4, you had that not awesome collection of units, then I guess I could see that. Alrighty, our first Seraphine match of the day. My expectations with this one are pretty low. This is just not a particularly good matchup for us, I don't believe. But the thing that I always, or not always, the things I've been commenting on with Seraphine here recently are the games are just so slow. I'll play 1. I feel like it's not fair for me to completely ignore Seraphine, but it's also not fair for you as the viewer for me to cut a typical 8-game hour-long video down into a 4-game hour-long video because we queued into Seraphine in half of them. And so that's my current stance on things. But here, I'll let the Acorn go ahead and hit. We have the Parlay to hopefully be able to take it down. If he wants to play a removal spell here, this is like pretty painful, right? If he plays a Twin Disciplines to protect Acorn and then shuts down our Plunder. But I'm willing to risk it. We gotta have. This is a matchup where I feel like we just have to have something go right. And if he has the combat trick counter there, then by all means, go for it. Fairly awkward hand now, though. We drew a lot of top end in here.
The journey to mastery begins with humility.
Just nothing going right. Nothing going right.
A focused mind.
We're gonna have to double up this this Disciple Adoran off the board just to pick up a Plunder. All right, Warning Shot changes things. I'm still not like opposed to dropping a double up on the Disciple. It's like I don't want our entire turn to be reliant upon it. We could let it go. Like, we're only overbanking 1 mana this turn, and like, what's the chance that we hit a burn spell with the Swindle? It's probably pretty high. I think I'm still going to go for it. He didn't have the combat trick before. Definitely see if he has it now. He'll probably want to prevent the 4. He's thinking on it a whole lot. Interesting. Okay.
Send them to the drink.
What do we got? A big 2 plunders? That's a lot. That's a lot, man. Alright, dude, just did a bunch of shit. Trail of evidence into Mystic Shot. It's not bad.
Shoot, I'm late.
And we are pretty close to lethal. It's like these powder pandemoniums are so strong. If we can pop off for just a little bit, like it's almost lethal next turn. Oh, you go. I wonder if we say like hit a warning shot, if we'd have been willing to go for it. Leaning towards the drum solo here. We're not going to be flowed, unfortunately, but I don't feel like the other spell is going to help us power through that well. And a Gangplank. He just feels really expensive at this point. I think if we can say like get a Gangplank down on our opponent's turn, and then try to come in with him here, might be able to get something out of it that way. That was a pretty weak set of draws, though.
Gotta hear that one again.
Didn't pick up any Fizz protection here. Really need like the Fizz to hit so we can get an extra plunder with the merchant. Okay.
Acorn, no chewing on the hex tag.
I never disclose my sources.
Back alley bar. Don't suspect that's going to be coming down on the board. I don't think it's in the cards. But we do have an interesting question now, right? We have the Gangplank and the Dreadway. I'm really hesitant to try and go for something like that, given that given that they just have access to so many removal spells, that just like any way to remove the Dreadway is just going to be ultimately super painful for us. So I think I'm okay to just say add. Man, it's even painful with this Gangplank, right? If we want to play the Gangplank, then we're going to get a Powder Keg on the board. We don't really want it. All right. Drum solo it is. No more burst spells. It's a sad day. I wonder if we can eventually get them, though, if we add the Yordle Grifter to the board, put the warning shot in our hand, and then play the Dreadway to get the 2 damage warning shot at burst speed. That's the way a true champion ends the games. That's the way it's done. That's it.
That was great. Now let's really bring it.
All right, Seraphine flipped. Let's see what kind of treats we're in for now. Pretty good.
Let me at him.
Only 3 plunders, though. Sad day.
Let's try one octave higher.
I think we're still on board with the Powder Pandemonium, though. At 8 mana, I mean, I guess we can add a back alley bar. Right? The Powder Pandemonium's still a new card at this point. And maybe we get to pop off a bit with some of this expensive stuff. So it's like we'll just be dealing 3 damage with the monkeys. But we can kill Master Yi and everything that isn't Seraphine. Maybe even we still go after Seraphine because we have the Make It Rain in hand. And then we try to find ourselves in this spot to where we add like the Dreadway, the Warning Shot, and the Make It Rain all in the same play.
Sure, it's a classic. But have you heard the remix?
Right, well, dude's out of mana at this point, so things start to get a lot safer. Oh, we don't get to pick the... I guess that makes sense, we don't get to pick the vulnerable.
Someone watch the bar.
Hey, what 0 mana treats are we gonna see now? I can't wait to find out. Please tell me. Okay. The big Wuju style. I guess our Make It Rain's not going to be big enough for this combat. Sad day.
Get your dancing shoes. Amps live, let's go.
All right, a big 6 hit. Sure. So are we able to go for the Dreadway here? It is kind of nice to pick up the Gangplank as well, but it's just like so easy for them. Like it's so easy for them to have the removal spells to get out of it.
Safety will cost you.
So I'm going to add the Grifter. We're going to use that to Warning Shot. We're going to use the Warning Shot, then play the Black Market Merchant, and then we'll get a chance to kind of see where we're at. Probably just following up with Gangplank, but I didn't want my Gangplank to be... I don't want to lose our Powder Keg to the Warning Shot. I want the Powder Keg to come through on this Gangplank Blast attack, whatever this thing is called.
I'll make corpses of them.
The Gangplank Blast attack. Sure, dude's taking predicts.
You've concerns, do ya?
I'm concerned, Gangplank. What is coming at us? We're also in a spot. Oh, we played our Warning Shot. I was like, we could potentially play the Dreadway and then Warning Shot to get a 4 damage a 4 damage ping. Would have been pretty cool.
Let's try one octave higher.
Why did I just kill our Gangplank? It just does 2, right? Was he disintegrated? Interesting. All right, well, let's see what happens to the Dreadway. I have utmost faith in you. Nothing can go wrong with anything that you do. Uh-oh. Are we going to get him? Are we going to get him? Let's see what Trail of Evidence brings. Line him up. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is beautiful. This is a burst spell, right? So we can line him up, get the powder kegs. Now we can bring in the attacks. We have this Twin Disciplines to boost something, and then we have all of the Make It Rains in hand to deal the bonus damages. Oh, this shit's gonna be choice. Feeling good. Feeling good, team. Alright, so that's gonna be... Oh, he's going Health Potion. He's not going Will of Ionia. That's bold. We may not have enough damage here, but man, letting the Dreadway do its thing, I'm suspicious of that. Forgot our other Make It Rain now costs 2 mana. It's a little sad, but we're doing stuff. The Pursuit of Perfection. Love it. All right, we're going to have to draw something good. Need a warning shot, a Make It Rain. Need for him to not open attack. Oh, don't open. Don't open. Ah, we picked up the Grifter. All right. GG. Now, I think that game perfectly summed up every single problem I have with this deck, right? I don't think that the Seraphine deck is too good. I don't think it's too powerful. It's just that was a 14-minute game. Now, if Riot's design goal at the end of the game, at the end of the day, is for games to have an average length of like 12 minutes, that's completely fine, right? If we're playing Magic, you expect a game of Magic to last like 10 to 15 minutes or so, unless we're playing like 2 really aggressive decks. That's fine. To me, the problem is the expectation of what you're getting into, and there's no real way to tell that, like, oh boy, I'm about to jump into a 14-minute match, right? There's no way to tell if you're about to jump into this like 12 to 15-minute kind of gameplay. And if that's the average, that's fine. I'm completely okay with that. But historically, that has not been the case. And now you're in this spot to where roughly 25% of the time, you have to just take that jump from average of 7 to 8 minutes now to an average of 12 to 15 minutes. And if you're in a space to where you can just sit down and say, okay, I have 30 minutes to play, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're sitting down in the space to where you have 10 minutes to play, what do? Right? Do you now play it and risk it? Do you risk saying, at the 10 minutes I now have to quit? Or do you just concede and jump into another game? And so I know that like the social agreement isn't the right word, but I feel like we've entered kind of a social agreement with Riot and what the length of a game is going to be. And now there's just a massive variance between what a standard size game is in 25% of your matches. And so again, I don't think the play patterns are bad. I don't think that they're overpowered. I'm not upset with the addition of the RNG. I'm upset with the amount of time that it now takes, right? And so we're now at the 54-minute mark in the video. We're just going to play one more game and call it a day. And so I feel like, if we're going to keep it at an hour, that's just what we have to do. But if we're just going to continue to play against Seraphine decks, then we only get to play like 2 or 3 games. I don't feel like that's fair for you as a viewer is something that we're going to be dealing with. See. Sorry, friend. I'm sure you were here ready for some fun HVC nightmare. We just don't have the time for that. On to the next one. Okay. Ash LeBlanc. Alright, this hand's not going to do it. This hand's not going to do it either. This is not good. This is scary stuff. You're not drawing well. Come on, deck. You got to give us something good. You have to make an interesting one for the last game. At least we can do a little bit here, dropping the monkey business. He's going to attack, so we should get some blocks and get a plunder and get moving at least a little bit, but this is definitely not how you want your games to go. Oh, he elects not to attack. I feel you. Alright, well, we'll force the matter as much as we can, but we are just so super far behind now. This is not a play sequence that works out for our deck very well. What you got for us in here? The Reckoning? That's not good. That's not good when they just have the direct answer to your Powder Pandemonium. Alright.
The strong don't want mercy.
See what we can do. We're counting on you now, Gangplank.
Just a moment.
Thought we had an attack token. I forgot we already attacked. Whoops.
These stories were true. Dead men tell lies.
Oh, we're just about to get savaged. We know what was in his hand, right? He's going to Ice Veil Archer our Gangplank and then hook it with the Trifarian. Alright, that's not good. That game was just dunzos from the start, though. Alright, let's get one more game in. We'll get one more in. That wasn't very satisfying, and it was quick. Probably have to cancel 2 or 3 games against Seraphine, and then we'll be good to go for a final battle. Alright. Nasus Kindred again. Going full circle. Where the event starts, also where it ends. Give me a good target, bro. You don't have to parlay onto units, right? We have to play both parlay and monkey business this turn. It would be really cool if he played like a fading icon here, right? And we got to parlay into the icon and then follow up with the monkey business. But if he just passes it back to us, it's more than okay just to parlay his face to start getting this monkey business chain going. We have to start playing our cards right now. Cool. He elected for the fading icon path. I appreciate it. Makes my life a lot easier. It feels a lot better when we're not just playing a 1 damage slow spell to the face. Never make that attack, though. This is always horrible. If you're not getting some kind of attack bonus, right? If you don't have, say, like a vein on the board, what do you ever get out of this, right? If he attacks and the absolute best is nothing happens, and then the absolute worst is we play cards and get to take down part of his game plan here. And so it's never worthwhile to make this attack with a 0 attack unit. Still got our damage in, though. Ready to drop some monkey business. Plunder number 2. Attack. Get your bad attacks in now. Let me let me get some of these delicious stats. All right.
Don't ask where it's from. Ask how much. I made it myself.
Interesting with the Neverglade Collector and the Powder Pandemoniums. I think we'll definitely be able to set up to this, right? Because we're going to Powder Pandemonium on this upcoming turn, and then we can play the Collector on opponent's turn and then come back and play another Pandemonium. That all sounds pretty good to me. Come the big monkeys.
Without the other.
Gather round, gather round.
All right, so at least with this, well, I guess we could have put the merchant to the left to try and get it to pop off, but I don't think we have a great way to get out of these kindred hits or to stop kindred from flipping.
Foolish.
Sure.
Beats fast now.
All right, we got him to 5. Make that 4. We might still get out of it this turn. Like, if he plays, like, Nasus or something here, then we just win the game. I don't want to risk us going for a Powder Pandemonium here and then him playing, like, a Vile Feast, right? That would be horrifically bad. He's still in this Vile Feast space right now. So we'll just stop. Let him get that Kindred flip. Hopefully we're good to go on this next turn.
To remember us by.
Neither the flames nor the depths can claim me.
See if he'll spend some manas.
Won't happen again.
Again, just don't want that 1 damage to be the end. It's a little sad in terms of like we have the Catalyst with the Powder Pandemonium. I think that works. I think this makes the Powder Monkeys deal 2, but it's too risky. And then we did pick up this other Powder Monkey that could get us out of a Vile Feast, but I'm still a little bit worried about the outcome here. Crumble's okay. Says, uh-oh, bust. I don't know if I can beat that. Vile Feast right here isn't enough, right? We'll still have an extra monkey to attack through. He needs to have basically 2 removal spells at that point. It does work here. Right, and see, I think Powder Keg and the Catalyst both read the same way. Yeah. And so it doesn't help the Last Breath ability on the Powder Monkeys. It's not a skill. It's not a circle ability that comes out of this. You see me try and move it, try and push the button to make the Powder Monkey move, pull up those skills. All right, GG. And so not a bad set of battles. And so I didn't really like the drum solo that much. I wasn't real impressed with it here, but I'm not entirely certain if that was just kind of a function of the games that we played. or what. It's just like I do really enjoy this deck, but I'm not a huge fan of playing Eye of Nagakaboros right now. And it kind of feels like getting that occasional cheapness onto your spells can really give you an advantage. But I can't entirely tell if it was just like a function of, well, there's two things. Just like a function of the cards that we drew were bad. Like, did we really just low roll on the drum solo and completely whiff? Or is it just bad and getting that guaranteed 2/2 is just better than a potential having a 4 mana discount on some spells in the future? And I guess probably realistically just getting that 2/2 is just better. But I'm not certain where I feel in terms of, would I rather play Eye of Nagakaboros with just the 2/2 only and not play Riptide Sermon? Because Riptide Sermon would be super fucking interesting in this format if it still dealt 4 damage and was able to take down a Vayne and was able to take down a Varus. But take down Rumble. You get so much stuff at 4 mana or 4 damage, but not with 3. And so I just haven't been real interested in it in this format as to where that combo of playing both and getting that big tentacle was quite good. We don't get access to that anymore. And so it's tough. It's still a pretty reasonable deck. Again, its power doesn't come in the like real strength of these cards. It comes in the way that it attacks the meta, right? It's a very odd thing to have to deal with the powder monkeys and then the face damage that they deal. And just being kind of like the only deck in the format that does this, there's not a lot of hate that comes in this style of deck's direction, and because it takes a very different style of answer to this kind of deck. And so if you want to say like, oh, well, Pirates is really popular, you can kind of like deal with other decks in your attack on Pirates, right? You start to say, well, the thing that's good against Pirates is going to be cards like Make It Rain. And so Make It Rain is going to clear out some of those units. Now Make It Rain is also good against decks that have, say, like Petricite Broadwings and any other 1 health units. And so that Make It Rain that you're directing towards Pirates is also good towards Gwen. It's also good towards Scouts, right? It's good towards a lot of those other things, as to where that style of direction isn't necessarily good here. And so, I mean, don't get me wrong, Make It Rains can be okay against Powder Monkeys, but it's not as directly powerful against a deck like this as it would be what they are looking to target there. And so this always finds a way to kind of like fit itself into the meta, just because it's such a small percentage of the meta, and the way that it attacks is so different that it tends to find ways to make its way be relevant. And so here, it's probably still okay. I don't think this is the exact meta where it's good. I wasn't super excited about drum solos, but it's a deck I still love and enjoy. Nothing better than getting in with those powder monkeys and getting that extra damage in. So nonetheless, that is going to do it for us today. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.